Like, as I said, Drake is the greatest of all time.
What are you talking about? Did you J. Cole?
Yeah.
Jermaine?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
And I tell her all the time, stop playing with Kendrick Lamar. He's the one.
So as you know, Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole were on their Mount Rushmore, but who was going to get in that fourth spot?
Welcome to another Rhythm IQ rankings. And of course, now that we've kind of let the dust settle a little bit with there's no big three, it's just big me. And I said it in the PG way because Kendrick didn't say it like that. What I want to do is figure out who really is the fourth face if we're doing a Mount Rushmore type situation. We know the big three is. Let's figure out who's next. So it's going to be my top 5 possible candidates for the fourth face on the Mount Rushmore, that generation of hip hop.
What do it take to be number one? You in the presence of a champion. Bow in the presence of greatness, family.
As usual, you know I gotta have my honorable mentions, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Wale, Meek Mill, and Joyner Lucas. But let's get into the actual 5.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
At 5, I am gonna have a bit of an out the way pick, but I got Tyler the Creator. And most people immediately they're gonna go, that just doesn't make sense because of the trajectory that he's been on. When he initially jumped in the game around 2009, he was the weird rapper, just rapping about nonsense to most people. Even though he was still a fire rapper, he just didn't make sense. But if we were to cut it down to like the last 5 years, Tyler the Creator would easily be number 1 on this list. He's been the most impactful. He's been putting out the more quality projects of the possible candidates of next up. And his superstardom, not only just in the fan base space, but also in the actual industry. Now he's getting Grammy noms and everything of that nature, and Grammy wins. Tyler would definitely be the face if we were only going by this last 5 years or so. But since we're doing the whole since 2009 to now, and we know how the beginning was, we'll go ahead and leave him here at 5. Let's get into 4.
Me and Flex looking in the index for buff net niggas just for some hot butt sex.
He did be wanting the body, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
At number 4, we got the biggest boss, Rick Ross.
How you dead broke but got a dope charge? Gotta rob a bank just to...
For some reason, he never gets put in these conversations of a possible face of that generation of hip hop. He jumped out to mainstream in 2006 with Hustlin' and Port of Miami, which most consider a classic hip hop album, or at least close to it. I think the main thing that keeps Ross from really being that face, aside from now him being more focused on being a reporter for like Tyreek Hill's Fire or beefing with 50 Cent online and promoting all his brands, his consistency isn't quite there. His album, his discography is kind of like up and down a bit. It's been a while since we've got a really good quality Rick Ross album. Even the collab he just did with Meek Mill was cool, but it wasn't, oh my God, we need more of this. But we still can't deny that the man's a hit maker. The man, when he gets into his pockets, the man is a rapper. Ross can get on the track with anybody and hold his own. But the top 3 makes way more sense than having him as the fourth face of this Mount Rushmore of that generation of hip hop. Let's get into 3.
That shit was hard. That nigga mama was a bull daddy. Coming up over if you, my mama kissing the girl, you gotta back that up. That shit was hard right there. Hey, that was that nigga best verse.
The next artist on this list, Charlemagne actually has as a top 3 of that generation of hip hop, and that's Future. And Future, while he has the impact, he has the hits, for me, he just doesn't have the rapping ability. Granted, I believe Rick Ross is a better rapper than Future, but I do believe Future's impact on hip hop and the whole toxic rap and everything just supersedes what Rick Ross has given to us in that time frame. Future, again, just he's taken T-Pain's spot as the hook guy for that entire era. And that was hard to do because we know T-Pain was on everybody's track. Future just, for me, isn't enough of a lyricist or a rapper's rapper. We do know he's one of the toughest melodic rappers in the game, but my 1 and 2 will easily out-rap him, put him to sleep, but we're still not going to discredit what he has done just for his own genre of music, being that Toxic King. Even his last album, We Don't Trust You, with Metro Boomin, amazing. Even though we're only talking about the Kendrick disc. Yeah, I actually listened to the album. It was fire.
Sensational. And that's the word you're looking for.
Number 2 on the list, just had an amazing Tiny Desk performance. And realistically, to most, is the actual fourth face of that era of hip hop in that generation. But my number one, my number one's on number 1. We'll get there. But Big Sean.
Haven't had the energy to compete with enemies or y'all so-called bigger 3.
Big Sean is easily, to me, the best rapper on this list. It's not even close. The only thing, Big Sean just doesn't possess a certain it factor or stardom because he's so in his chill Zen vibe now. You're not going to get super controversial anything from him. So it kind of just keeps him in a space of, you're a great rapper, but you're not fully entertaining us. I'm cool with him just being a great rapper. The new track he dropped, Precision, was fire. And of course, he dropped it the same day Kendrick dissed the big 3 and didn't bother to mention Big Sean. But Big Sean's still holding his own. Big Sean's still dope. Looking for the project that he has announced is coming soon. Hopefully it is sooner than later because we've been waiting on a Big Sean project. Big Sean at 2.
I respect you. You never know what somebody's going through, bro.
Right.
You never know what somebody, and you got to treat people like they going through something.
Right.
You know?
So realistically, my number 1 should be everyone's number 1. But for whatever reason, whenever we get into the conversation of the big 3 and then the 4th, they always stick to gender. But number 1, realistically, is Nicki Minaj. Whether you love her or hate her, the antics, how catty she can be, Nicki is an icon in that female rap. She's an icon in all of rap, but she's the front runner when it comes to female rap, especially in her generation on. The fact that she's held her own with everyone, male, female included, rapping with Lil Wayne, rapping with Drake, just sticking to being on point. There's no part of Nicki Minaj and her art that can be denied. You can't argue that she's one of the greatest to ever do it. You can argue that you don't like her personality, and that's fine. Everybody has their preference on who's who. But that art, the talent, just Nicki Minaj being great, getting on the track, to this day, there is no argument. Over time you can argue, well, so-and-so is better on this song than that song. Nobody ever argues that Nicki doesn't have the best verse on Monster. And let's not forget that Rick Ross was on there, Kanye was on there, Jay-Z was on there, and Nicki had the best verse. Nicki at 1, no debate.
Nigga, bum!